Hello everyone. Today, we will be discussing the quantum theory. This theory may explain how Slenderman acts, how he travels, how to manipulate him, and maybe how to escape him. Now this is an explanation of why he acts. That is obviously still a mystery. First, the very basics of quantum physics for those who might not know. There's an experiment involving waves and particles in an attempt to determine the properties of a quantum element. Imagine a wall with a slit in it. When particles are fired at the wall, it creates a single line where the slit was on the other side of the wall. When a wave is created behind the slit, the area where the wave is the strongest is in line with the slit. Now moving up two slits. When particles are fired through, it creates two lines where the slits are, but when a wave is generated, there's a distortion pattern, and where the wave behind the wall is strongest appears as many lines. When a quantum element is through the same two-slit wall, it creates the aforementioned distortion pattern, as if it was a wave, but when observed, it created the double line pattern, as if it were a particle. The mere act of observing disturbs the object being disturbed. This wave-particle duality is the first connecting point to the Slenderman. The Slenderman exhibits this duality quality. Only when he is observed by somebody or by camera does he become visible. When he is no longer being observed, he retakes the quantum quality, which explains his normally sudden disappearances. By observing him, we are able to slow him down, almost as if to a stop. What he can do when we are not observing him is unknown. Taking a little time to explain his appearance is the idea of time stretching. The Slenderman has shown an ability to make his victims travel through time as well as to seemingly travel through time himself. This may be what gives him the slender appearance. When we see him, what we may be seeing is a thing at different intervals. His feet may be in a more present time than his head, and this causes a time stretch visual effect, making him seem significantly taller and inhuman. Quantum physics does not necessarily follow the time the way we count it. There are such things as quantum leaps and quantum seconds, which I understand to be the seconds in between seconds. An object, if it could exist in quantum space, could move through the third dimensions without disturbing anything within the dimension, and can travel minuscule or great distances without as much effort as it takes in the third dimension. This could explain how the Slenderman travels. When we're not observing him, he can take quantum leaps and move anywhere in the world, or possibly this universe, and then reappear as soon as someone else observes him. Similarly, there's the idea of quantum superpositioning. When an object is unobservable, it is impossible to prove an object is actually there. Say there's a ball sitting outside of your room. There's no way to see, smell, hear, taste, touch, or otherwise observe the ball. It is impossible to prove the existence of the ball, and while it doesn't exist, it can move to a place where it will be observed. Obviously, the ball can't move on its own, and when you look outside, the ball exists. But for a creature that can move on its own will, this is a different story. By moving into the aforementioned quantum dimension, he can move anywhere and everywhere. Though, like anything else that exists in the third dimension, there's one, and only one. But quantum elements have a property that solidifies their existence a little more. They can only exist in certain places. This is because of the wave-particle duality mentioned earlier. In the wave, there are highs and lows like a sine wave on a graph. The quantum element can only move to and exist in the places where there are peaks in the wave, and cannot exist in the places where there is zero. If the Slenderman continues to exhibit signs of being a quantum creature, that means this property possibly applies to him too. He can only appear in certain places of the world. If we could somehow measure the Slenderman, we could possibly figure out where his waves cannot reach, and therefore find a way to escape him. Lastly, waves have a property where they cancel one another out when collided. Not just any waves, but the waves must be similar. This is how noise-canceling headphones work. Using sound waves similar to that of the ambient noise you don't want to hear, and projecting them to cancel the waves coming at you. Of course, when we observe the Slenderman, he becomes physical, and we know no physical way of killing him. But in his wave state, if another wave of similar properties were to hit the Slenderman, he would disappear. The only downside to this is that means the only way to kill a Slenderman is with another Slenderman. Of course, this is all theory and speculation, but I really hope this video helped you understand the quantum theory. It's a really cool theory, and it's more than just, oh, Slenderman wants to capture kids. I really like it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and until the next video.